Well, hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and welcome to this week's program, friends. I tell you, spring, this is our emerald time here in Louisiana because everything is so green and so pretty and so nice. And I know some of you watching this are still having snow. Well, of course, we got mosquitoes here, too. I laugh about saying somebody's got to live in those cold places, but let me tell you, we have mosquitoes. Heck, a lot of people think that's a state bird until they learn differently, but anyway, it's not so bad. Trust me, if the trade-off is worth it. Absolutely wonderful time of year. Great day to be out shooting, enjoying the outdoors. And you say, well, what in the world does Johnny have now? I've got an axe here. I've got a pitchfork right here. I've got, we call this briar hook. I don't know what you, brush cutter, whichever. You know what? All of these, this axe, and I've got a little hand axe here, a little throwing axe actually, but none of these things have serial numbers. And you know what? Every one of these things is a terrible or terribly effective, can be used as a weapon. You know, a while back we covered a piece on this program in our radio shows as well, where a crazy man went in a home out in California and killed some little kids with a pitchfork. This is a terrible weapon in the wrong hands. In the wrong hands. In normal people's hands, it's just a regular implement. You know, something that has been often used as a weapon, your common garden variety or building variety brick. You know, remember Reginald Denny? Remember seeing what happened to the side of his head when it was crushed in with a brick? Got that on video. How many other people have been killed or wounded? A brick is a terrible weapon. Can be. And you know, there's not a serial number anywhere on this brick. Not a waiting period on this axe or on that pitchfork or on this brick. Nothing at all. Now, friends, we're talking about showing the futility of disarming America. You know, any of these things, I guess, could be used in self-defense. Yeah, if it's all I had, believe me. Years ago, during our investigation days, I stumbled on to a drug lab, and they caught the old boy outside, and I was just doing an investigation. Well, he thought I was the police. Well, I wasn't. I was an investigator, and this guy comes to me with a yard broom. Well, the yard broom was no match for a handgun. Everything got real. I explained who I was, and certainly the handgun. Just the fact that I had it. No, I didn't have to shoot him, but just the fact that I was armed was able to avert injury by yard broom. So people use anything, and people will use anything at all to do harm. Anything at all. Well, you know, the best defense against a crazy person is, guess what? It's not another pitchfork. It's not a brush hook here or an axe. It's a handgun. Certainly a long gun would be okay, but a handgun is handy. You know what? I talk with people and say, well, I'm real good, but I got a golf club or I got a baseball bat. Let me show you something. Now, we've got a target here. Let's take our trusty pitchfork here, and you know, if you are physically active, if you are physically capable, this is another thing. To defend yourself with something like this, you've got to be physically fit. You know, what if you're a 95-pound woman? This is a 250-pound crackhead. But still, okay, let's say you're physically fit. Okay, you can hold them off a little bit with this. Maybe. Let's look at something else. Consider this. Maybe there's two of them. What you gonna do now? Think about this. There may be three of them. Now what are we going to do? You know what? Suppose these are people who come to your home maybe asking for directions. You going to meet them like this? I don't think so. What you going to do if you're trying to deal with one, another one gets around behind you? Or what if you're busy? What if you've got a knife or whatever else and you're busy with one? What about these other two? What about your family? What you going to do while you're dealing with this one? Maybe you're grappling with this one. What about the other two adversaries? Well, the part of this is to bring a little bit of reality, because this is how it works with a gang in an armed robbery or a home invasion, something like that, what are you going to do? You can't defend yourself against 2 or 3 people. If you can defend yourself against one, what if they come in at night and you're half awake and you're certainly not physically ready to deal with somebody in hand-to-hand combat? Think about it. Simple thing. Okay. And another thing, with a good or a powerful caliber, you don't have to worry about them coming back. You don't have to worry. You've got a much less likelihood of them continuing the attack. That's why I keep stressing the fact of use enough gun, have enough gun. I suppose if somebody wants to choose a pitchfork for home defense, I guess that's okay, but I tell you what, I'm going to stay with the handgun myself.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, this is the new Georgia Arms 20th anniversary catalog. Of course, has a memorial there to our good friend Jim Clark there on the cover. This is a terrific catalog from the finest ammunition maker in the United States. They have all kinds of great prices on all sorts of ammunition: 243 Winchester, 270s, 7.62 by 39 Russian, all kinds of great stuff. They've even got 308 tracers, 30-06 tracers, all kinds of neat stuff here in this great new Georgia Arms catalog. They have components if you want to load your own ammo, and look here, we've got the Shooting Show and our new 460 Rowland kit on sale as well. Georgia Arms has the best prices for custom grade ammunition that I'm aware of in the United States, and guess what else? They're helping to support our Shooting Show. Friends, give them a call today. Free phone call, free catalog, 1-800-624-6861, 1-800-624-6861, Georgia Arms, and please remember to tell them that you heard it and saw it here on our program.
And now let's go to Fort Knox, Kentucky, courtesy of our good friend John Allred, and take a look at the George Patton Tank Museum.
South of Louisville, Kentucky, I stopped at the General Patton Museum at Fort Knox main entrance. The 1918 Ford 3-ton tank is a 2-man tank made up of standard commercially available Ford parts and used spare Model T gasoline engines, one for each track. It was steered by varying the speeds of the 2 engines. U.S. Model 1917 6-ton tank is a small 2-man tank introduced in 1918. Was a copy of the French Renault tank of 1917. This light tank was introduced in 1938. It was the last of the so-called cavalry tanks. It mounted a double turret, which both weapons have been removed, as we can see. This is the M1A1 pack howitzer. It was adopted in 1927 as a light howitzer to accompany the cavalry. M3 light tank. It was accepted for use in 1941. It was equipped with a 37mm gun and 6 .30 caliber machine guns. The M3A3 medium tank. In 1940, it was one of rapid change for U.S. tank programs. The M2A1 medium tank was approved only a few months earlier. It was no match for German tanks. Had a 75mm gun in the turret. M4A3 Sherman. It was introduced in 1944. It was a match at the time for German tanks because of its 3 inches of armor and 75mm gun. The light weapons that were used at the time, on the left is a .30 caliber Springfield, used in the early years of World War II. Was replaced by the M1 Garand in the center in late 1942. And the .30 caliber carbine, M1 carbine, it was used by support personnel and weapons crew members during World War II. At the top is 45 caliber submachine gun used by tank and vehicle crews for close combat engagements during World War II. There's the famous Colt 45 caliber pistol handgun, official pistol of the U.S. Army from 1926 to present. And at the bottom it's a 45 caliber Thompson submachine gun. It was used by both armor and infantry units for engaging the enemy in close combat during World War II. The creation of armored divisions in 1940 ushered in a new age of cooperation in the U.S. Army. The armored divisions combined elements of 3 basic combat arms, infantry, artillery, and cavalry, as well as units from many of the other branches, such as engineers, signal corps, ordnance, quartermaster, and medical. Half-track personnel carrier, and then we have the M7B2 105mm howitzer motor, and then the 105mm howitzer M4 assault tank. The M24 Chaffee tank, it was considered the best light tank of World War II. It entered service in the winter of 1944 during the Battle of the Bulge. The M47 medium tank, known as the Patton, it was introduced in 1951. A few of them were sent to Korea and tested until it was replaced by the M48 tank. 483 E8 model. It was introduced in 1944. It was equipped with a 76mm gun. It replaced the old Sherman tank. The 883 Patton medium tank. It was introduced in 1953. It was equipped with a 90mm gun. The M551 Sheridan. It was an armored reconnaissance airborne assault vehicle. Its weapon system included a unique launcher capable of firing guided missiles, a variety of 152mm conventional ordnance, supported by one 7.62mm coaxial machine gun and one 50 caliber machine gun, 8 grenade launchers. The M113 armored cavalry assault vehicle. It was introduced in Vietnam in 1962. Experimental prototype of the Cobra attack helicopter. It was equipped with a 7.62mm minigun. These three are some more light weapons. From the top, we have the M79 grenade launcher. Launched a 40 millimeter grenade to about 400 yards. In the center is the US M16 rifle. It fired 223, 5.56 millimeter. And at the bottom, it's the US M60 light machine gun. This weapon was in 7.62 NATO. Some of General Patton's personal weapons. Up at the top left is a Model 1901 22 caliber Remington target pistol. Just below it is a Model 1890 22 caliber Winchester repeating rifle. Under it is a double barrel 16 gauge shotgun. And under it, particular myth connects Patton's two ivory grip weapons worn together as a pair. Patton had a left holster made for the Smith & Wesson. He intended to wear both as his symbol of command for World War II. After landing in Africa, Patton put away the Smith & Wesson. It's a Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum revolver. A ton 6x6, specially modified for use in World War II by General Patton as one of his command posts and also his sleeping quarters. Patton quote was, "I fight where I am told, and I win where I fight."
And friends, we must continue to fight to win the battle for our Second Amendment. Our thanks to our good friend John Allred for his trouble there. It's been a great video tour of the Patton Museum there in Fort Knox.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Folks in the media continue to show how little they care about anything in the Constitution other than the First Amendment. Reporters in Mariposa, California were recently required to submit to background checks and fingerprinting in order to cover a murder trial in the Mariposa Superior Court. The court required the background checks for the media, but not the general public. While I can appreciate the court's greater concern about the media, law really should apply equally to all. And of course, there are laws that should not apply to anyone, should not be on the books. The court withdrew the requirement after news organizations and a public interest group, the California First Amendment Coalition, said it violated press freedoms guaranteed by the Constitution. The coalition had this to say about the policy. It is a highly intrusive, utterly arbitrary invasion of privacy on professionals whose work is protected from governmentally imposed burdens. Why would it not be equally correct to condemn the instant background check imposed on firearms owners as a highly intrusive, utterly arbitrary invasion of privacy on citizens whose right to keep and bear arms is protected from governmentally imposed burdens? The First Amendment Coalition was threatening a lawsuit over the violation of civil rights of reporters when the Mariposa court buckled. I'm delighted that the reporters objected because their privacy was being invaded by the court. They might have added that government has no business treating citizens as criminals. Surely that attitude had to chap the reporters and incline them all the more to challenge the background check. I realize it is asking a lot since the reporter's Second Amendment ox is not being gored. At least they don't think so. But it would certainly be good news indeed if they found it as obnoxious for a gun buyer to submit to a background check as it is for them to do the same to cover a murder trial. Of course, even a number of gun owners will insist that a background check for gun owners is different from a background check for reporters. After all, we will be asked, how are you going to keep guns from getting in the wrong hands? The shortest answer is, we're not going to keep guns from getting into the wrong hands no matter what we do. The English have proved this point. They have a gun ban, and now they have a violent crime rate in excess of that of ours. Their media has dubbed the city of Manchester as Gunchester. Anti-gun scholar Jens Ludwig, publishing the results of the study of the Brady Law in the Anti-Gun Journal of the American Medical Association, found that the law had had no impact on lowering crime. That would make sense. If a gun ban doesn't lower crime, on the contrary, what makes us think a background check of gun buyers will do any better? So for those of our friends in the media, we agree that a background check of reporters is useless and obnoxious. Can you see that the same adjectives describe the background check of gun owners? Let's elevate gun owners to the same level of citizenship enjoyed by reporters. From Washington, this is Larry Pratt for Gun Owners of America.
For more information on Gun Owners of America, you can call them 888-886-GUNS, 888-886-4867, or you can find them on the internet at gunowners.org. Friends, they're supporting us. Let's please support them as well.
Friends, we have another piece we want to do for you, but I want to pass this on to you. At a high school in Florida, someone who the police believe to be a cold-blooded multiple murderer stopped by a school, the Miami Edison High School, earlier in the week. And he started something with a couple of high school kids, and guess what he did? Now, this is someone who's 21 years old, not involved in school, went by the school, started an altercation with a couple of students there at the school. So you know what he did? Pulled out a gun and began to shoot at the students. Well, instead of this being another school shooting, I don't think he got out of the car. They're going to have a drive-by, I guess. Guess what? 2 11th graders pulled out their own guns, no joke, fired back, and the murderer and his cohorts, they made a run for it. Don't know if they were injured or not. None of the students were injured. Now, those students were not legally carrying those guns on campus, but you know what? Schools have become a dangerous place in some places. And there's a reason that some of these kids have been carrying weapons, not because they want to do harm, not all of them, certainly not. Some of them because they're fearing for their lives. They want to be able to defend themselves, kind of like you and I want to be able to defend ourselves. So no, I'm not recommending arming students, but let me tell you what, I am recommending arming school principals, those who will be responsible and want to do it. That'll stop these school shootings. It'll stop it all. The Israelis have already tried it. They know what works. But I do find that interesting. And I don't think the 2 11th graders, no telling how many people they saved. It doesn't say whether they've been arrested or not. This is from the Sun Sentinel, South Florida. And draw your own conclusions. But thankfully, the students had guns, or the murderer would have killed some of them. You know, in this case, no, I don't recommend arming students. However, back when students could take guns to school in the past, we didn't have shootings. In fact, there are records out west of where, I know at least one, where the student saved a teacher's life because somebody came there to kill the teacher. Students went to the cloakroom, got their own guns, they rescued the teacher. So no, a no firearm zone is not the answer to problems in schools. They've turned it into hunting zones for maniacs. So just want to pass that on to you.
Stay tuned for more of The Shootin' Show after these important messages.
for folding stocks, for pistol grips, for regular stocks, for replacement stocks, for magazine extension tubes for your shotgun, for magazine replacement springs for your shotgun. How about the executive eye scraper, the executive letter opener, all from Choate Machine and Tool when you call for a free catalog. You can get the executive letter opener, a multi-purpose tool, or the executive eye scraper, a multi-purpose tool, for only your choice, only $2 when you call for a free Choate catalog. You can get both of them for $4, a $10 value. Friends, if you're a shooter or a gun owner, you need one of the Choate Machine and Tool Company catalogs. Call them today, 1-800-972-6390. In Ball Knob, Arkansas, they're helping to support our project. You need one of their catalogs. Again, 1-800-972-6390. And please remember to tell them that you saw it here on our show. You know, the 44 Magnum is a great cartridge, but it has a lot of noise and a lot of recoil. Wouldn't it be nice to have the same power level in the slim and compact and lightweight 1911 style gun? Same power level, not nearly as much or recoil. You can have it with our pistol kit. Here's the 45 Auto on a water bottle target. Now let's shoot the other target with the same gun fitted with our 460 Rowland pistol kit. Or how about the power of this lever action rifle in a lightweight, handy semi-automatic carbine? The 460 Rowland MechTech carbine conversion unit for the 1911 frame is only $345 plus shipping, and the 460 Rowland pistol kit for the 1911 pistol is only $275 plus shipping.
From Springs, Louisiana, we have Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have Dennis Crocker Firearms Training, League of the South Information, and Grass Information there in South Carolina. We have Gearlings Equipment Rental in Southern California. We have Mike and Sherry Harris Pilot Services and Consulting there in South Carolina. Friends, we're out of time on today's program. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you on the next show.